it would be finally really interesting to give a handshake to Wally. Oh, you took my best friend away from me. Nice to meet you, finally.
Well, thank you for coming back and talking more about school spirits, man.
Always, Russ. Always here for you.
So, some stuff happened this season. I don't know if you were aware. Like, I wanna just start right at the end. What in the world are you doing in Mr. Martin's scar, man?
Oh, I know. When we read that on the script, that was, oh, so this is what a season three would look like. You know, here's how the producers explained that moment to me. Maddie goes to her ambulance, rushes over there, but at the same time, Simon crosses. And they are trying to justify the supernatural occurrence of their love for each other somehow coming into play why he got trapped like that. But it's the perfect role reversal. I mean, Simon has done a lot for Maddie these past couple seasons. Now it's like your turn, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where did you go? Like, I guess you can't really say too much about it, but like, you run off camera, and the next thing we know, you're in the scar. But what was your destination in between there?
He went, sorry, eating my vitamins
You're
because,
fine. Health is important. All right.
yeah, no, I've been eating just ground beef and realized I haven't ate a vegetable in like 3 months. Maybe I should eat like vitamins. I don't know. Anyway, so where he went, I mean, he was going right back to the boiler room, thinking that that would be their mutual spot. Maybe he could scream Maddie's name and she'll be there. And he went inside the shelter, that bomb shelter, the famous bomb shelter that they got down there. And lo and behold, he is trapped in the underworld. He cannot come back. And I don't know how they're gonna rescue him, but someone's got to save Simon. It was such an act of unconditional love. It was an act of, I don't know what the danger is. I just gotta run and get her. And that kind of knee-jerk reaction is kind of what friends are for, you know? Um, but poor guy.
Yeah. Did they? Oh, actually, first I wanted to ask. So, is anybody else in your body, do you think, or is this a whole new situation that we have to explore in season three, whatever it may be?
So
Did you get
with
hijacked?
all the hints and clues that are going on in the script, it kind of looks, I wouldn't want to make a call that's false, but it kind of looks like his physical body that doesn't even make sense. I don't even know. I don't
Yeah.
even I was about to say his physical body is trapped in a scar because they went in and out at the same time. I don't know. I really don't think doesn't are you saying that his body should be lying around somewhere in the
Well, I
school?
mean, yeah, at least that's how it's been working so far. It's like in theory, I mean, did someone surprise you and like hijack your body, and then you ended up in the sky? Yeah, there's a lot of question marks.
It's just, Simon saying where the hell is Maddie trapped in that scar is the big question mark. But there's one other question mark that's the cliffhanger of the second season is when Janet says, there are still more things Mr. Martin and I need to figure out. He didn't tell me something, and it's something important. This is beyond the red rooms. This is beyond scars. This is something about the hospital and the school. What is underneath these places that allow ghosts? What did he find? I think that maybe there's some explanation there because we have no idea what kind of information Mr. Martin's holding in his pocket.
Yeah. Now, have you already made peace with Spencer, Rainbow, and Kiara about spending less time together next season?
Oh,
Have you guys had your like, all right, goodbye, see you maybe at the end of next season?
dang, I'm gonna miss them. I'm gonna miss them a lot. Honestly, if Simon is stuck in the underworld, it's gonna be a new show for me as an actor because I'm walking in knowing who my scene partner is for all these years. I've never really done a scene with Rhonda or Charlie or Wally. I have I know who they are in real life, but actually not a lot. out of the 100 days we spend shooting, I hang out with them maybe 10 days, really.
Hmm.
So it's going to be a whole different show, but I am so curious how he's going to get along with these guys. Because it got bigger. That Rat Pack is now Yuri, and we got Quinn, and I just have a feeling he'd really love Dawn. I don't know. I just think like, but anyway, yeah, I have not made peace. It's gonna be a funeral.
Which of those characters are you most excited to see Diamonds to see Simon's dynamic play out with?
He is a diamond in the rough, though.
Yeah.
So, I think Simon will, being a smart guy, is gonna understand Rhonda's sort of, he'll understand whatever that thing she's got going on. Um I don't know if he'll be able to have so many laughs with Charlie, because Charlie just made peace with death. Everything is just, it's just a game. It's just funny. He just has a good time. Um it would be finally really interesting to give a handshake to Wally. Oh, you took my best friend away from me. Nice to meet you finally.
Yeah.
And you know, I wonder that what that would be like. But here's like my theory on love is that it's weird to say. A lot of people don't like this, but when two people love the same person, there's a high likelihood that they'll be friends. And of course, there's that animal part that says, I don't like you taking what's mine. But we love a person because they kind of complete us. And if Maddie completes me and Maddie completes Wally, then I don't think Simon and Wally are gonna be, you know, these catastrophic rivals. I think there's a bit of like understanding, effortless understanding there, like soul matching. Like we are connected by our partners. We're not the same. I might like mac and cheese, he might like, mashed potatoes, but um we kind of get each other because we love the same person. It's a tough argument to make, but that's what I think.
Well, yeah. Well, will Wally even be there next season? That's a question too. His door opened there in that last moment. I can't imagine they're just gonna be like, all right, bye, Wally, like that. But
It was a good ambiguous ending for him. What I can say is Milo loves this show, and he loves Wally. I think he's addicted to Wally. I can't imagine the show going on without him.
yeah, no, yeah, I hope, especially to see Simon and him interact. I think that would be a very, very interesting, and I think kind of it builds up to this point, so you kind of have to pay that off, as given the situation that was just established. It would feel a little weird to not touch that.
You see, the third season is is the full circle. It's like Maddie is back, but they need to understand, what's going on with Mr. Martin. You're right. The writers did a really good job. We have 16 episodes so far, 2 seasons. They have a really good job at bringing this to just a good ending. And I don't know how long the show will run. All I know is they know what they're doing. They don't tell us, but uh, th they're gonna come full circle.
6 seasons in a movie. It's happening.
Yeah, in a movie.
Yeah. Now, let's jump back a second. Simon and Maddie have another big fight in episode 7 where you kind of question how she's treating you and her living friends while everything is going down. Kind of dive into what Simon is feeling in that moment.
You know, um, I think he feels burnt out. I think he kind of looked around and said, you know, um, I gave a little bit too much of myself, and I thought you would do the same. Her doing the same is coming back to him and reconnecting. But he goes, I lost my whole future. I can't even go to college anymore. I'm suspended. That's going to be on my record forever. My life is over because I was running around, Split River, Wisconsin, trying to save you. He's just burnt out. And I think what he learns is there is no such thing as a jail-free card. There's consequences to everything. If you're gonna love someone that much and do all that, well, you have the potential to be really, really hurt. So it's a heartbreaking moment. He kind of says, I miss you. And And that's the thing, like we forget when you're in a show that has so many cool conflicts, is that they're 17 years old and they really just want to go to the skate park and they really just want to hang out. But in these awesome shows like Stranger Things or School Spirits, the world is ending and they lose childhood and youth forever.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah, I think he's burnt out and he just realized that um, you can give an arm and a leg to someone, but eventually you're gonna run out of body parts. There's nothing left for him to give. He's just completely 0% battery.
Hmm. But Simon does make a big move to after that big exchange, he goes back and calls the college recruiter before everything else plays out. How does he hope that all is going to unfold for him? He made that call. What does he think is going to happen next?
I think um, I think him picking up that landline phone at the office was him saying, "Wow." In the same sense, it's been a while for me to take my vitamins. And wow, this feels like a sponsorship. I'll just flip it. Okay. In the sense that it's like, dang, I haven't taken my vitamins in a while, just eating my beef diet. Simon hasn't done a single thing for himself. So when he picks up that phone, I don't know if he thinks he's gonna get into Northwestern, but I just know that it almost seemed like the only thing left he can do. You know, it was, it's either clean your room or call Northwestern. He's picked up that phone, he did something for himself. And when he hung up and he just sat back in the chair, it was the first time his soul's been restored. And I always make the argument, why do we love people? I think we love people because of who they are, but when all you are is a self-sacrificing figure that again is just composed of absolute selflessness, Maddie has no one to love. He just becomes a shadow. He just becomes a figure of her. He's almost like an understudy of his own life. He's just there. And so she needs a best friend to love. And I feel like when he gave a call to that college, it was the first time um that he I guess filled his fridge back with yeah.
Well, now he's basically dead. So, what do you think are his chances with that particular? Like, is that college is it basically done now? How do you even come back from that a third time?
I know. Dude, this guy's
Unless this
future.
is solved
Oh.
within 24 hours, which I can't imagine. Uh,
I mean, there's a potential for so many great scenes in the third season, I think we talked about this in our last interview, like a graduation, or even just a fast uh opposite of a flashback, like a fast forward to what do their college lives look like, and have the ghosts that are our favorite Breakfast Club guys, have they moved on and passed on? Does someone want to take the torch and say, Mr. Martin's gone, I'm gonna go ahead and lead the afterlife? Is that gonna be Charlie? You know? So I think yeah, I have this guy deserves the world, and I hope that they rescue him first of all.
yeah.
Um,
Well, no,
yeah.
actually, I hope that Simon is just stuck in the afterlife. Sorry. Yeah. Now, I can't imagine just even watching the scene. I was like, what are you guys doing? Like the frustration that Simon had trying to convince everyone to stop moving Maddie. And just like how vindicated, obviously this isn't what happened, thankfully for Maddie, but how vindicated would he have felt if like Maddie missed that window to return and it was all because they kept moving the body and you were like, we know this is bad.
If Maddie never got her body back, season three would still end up with Simon in the afterlife because the dude would off himself. He right there on the spot. Oh, she's gone. I'm gone. She's gone. I'm gone. He has no idea how life functions without her. Um, and I wish we see a little bit more moments of their friendship before all the craze, because that's the kind of thing that we root for because we know where it's all coming from. But yeah, they cut some of the backstory with how they first met. But yeah, I mean, those paramedics were leaving him. He knew what the stakes were. He knew she needed to be right there in that school. Um, but yeah, I remember when they filmed that scene. Yeah, all the ambulances were in one take because it was the last week of filming, so it really felt like the season finale. And then I remember when he's holding her body, um, and they're telling everyone's saying that her pulse has gone cold and that they need to move her. They picked the most PG version of what I did. Oh my God. What if I'm holding someone's dead body, I'm in shock. But instead they picked this take where he's just kind of holding her. That was the fifth take. The first four takes, Russ, were I mean, there was snot on Peyton's eye. I was just
And Peyton's like,
directing.
what the
Her mouth is open like this. Yeah, like slot in her mouth. No, I was really going for it, and they kind of toned it down, and I don't know why they did that. I guess maybe it doesn't make sense in the cut if they whatever they cut to, but yeah, some like I'm sorry. I hope I convinced audiences in the finale because I want to bring it all the way to the 150th percent level with intensity. But then when they drag you down, often audiences are like, huh, why, I wonder why they didn't take it there. It's like, oh, I wanted to take it there. They didn't let me.
f?
My first time that happened was in season one. I was doing a scene where Simon stands up in the classroom and says, who signed up and who volunteered to look for her body? No one. And then the phone rips out of Xavier's uh, backpack. So that scene, I remember like Oliver Goldstick, our showrunner, went up to me, and I guess I was doing it a little bit too much. He goes, "Hey, Kristian, come here for a sec. Remember, you're like 16, man. You sound like a real father. Your voice is so guttural and you're so loud. Just 16, okay?" And I was like, "Oh, Frank, that's right. Yeah, it happens a lot.
Mhm.
You frequently have to dial it back."
You mentioned that they cut out some of Maddie and Simon's backstory. I have to ask about that. What don't we know? How did they meet? Can you say anything about that?
Um, there was a monologue where Janet was standing on the edge of the dock and Simon was looking at her and had to convince her, to go back to the school because everything needs to end now. It's over. And the way he was trying to do that is just appeal to her emotion. And he brought up the story of how Maddie and him first met. Um, and you know what? There were a couple rewrites. One of those things was one of the rewrites was she saw a book that he was reading, and it was some like obscure, weird gothic historian thing, and they were in, third grade, and then she was like, "Really? I already finished that one." And he's like, "Another human has read this book?" They just connect like that. But then I also think um they changed it in the sense that Simon as a young kid had nowhere to go. He's a group of people are in the room, he's in the corner. They're playing dodgeball, he's the last one, and he was just kind of pushed around and didn't really have anyone. But Maddie had like such a good heart that the only person who I guess wanted to talk to him was her. And then ever since then they kind of just made an agreement. You're my friend, okay? You're gonna be my friend. And it was cute, but yeah, I don't know. It was just it was something like it happened early and it never broke, even for a
Mhm.
second, because they needed each other. And yeah, yeah.
Now, it's long been, and we've kind of mentioned this a little bit throughout this conversation. It's long been established that Simon can see Maddie in the afterlife, obviously. But as season two unfolded, it just becomes even clearer how rare of a connection that is. Can you kind of explain in your own words with these first two seasons that have unfolded, just why exactly is Simon's connection so special that he is able to see Maddie, where like 99.9% of the rest of existence never gets that interaction with anybody, even close people that die with them?
Mhm. I guess it comes down to the types of love that are out there. You know, you meet a lot of people in life and you say you love them, but their love to me is just it at the top. it's the kind of love where you let loyalty decide the day for you. I don't mean to be ambiguous, but it's like when you're bounded by loyalty, that things get decided that way. Oh, I don't like that you did that. I'm still going to be your friend. That's needed in a relationship, boyfriend and a girlfriend or a marriage. It's I hate that you screwed me over, but till death do us part, honey. And that is what that commitment is. Now, are they married? They're not. Not yet. Maybe he wants that. I
Well, you
don't
got to
know.
get back to the land of the living first.
I know. Oh, imagine a wedding in the afterlife, though. That'd be crazy. Uh, bonkers. Um, Everything just resets. Like,
Yeah.
hook the.
All right, never happened.
But I guess like, what am I trying to say with their love? It's that there are too many moments where Simon runs in the dark for her. I remember in season 1 he saw some figure in the forest and he just ran and he knew it was the killer. And I was like, I watch all these YouTube videos of what it looks like when people rob a store, and as soon as the shooter enters the liquor store, everyone backs. Why is Simon charging? Why does this guy charge? And I think it's because he needs her. Their their conversations, the way they walk, everything that they do, they just fit. They're their twin flame, and I think she needs him. Certainly on a practical level, getting all these things done for her and bringing Janet to the school. But my last example is as he's looking at the phone and saying, I have proof that you're alive. Get away from me. And she goes, You're not crazy in episode 1. You're not crazy. I'm here. This guy literally has to deny his own mind in order to, believe her. And he does. He chooses his heart over evidence. And that is the definition of an insanity. And to me, that's the definition of love because it has nothing to do with your brain. I'm going to deny all this evidence because I love you. Yeah, that's love. You go crazy for it. So it has nothing to do with choice or intelligence. It's just loyalty and old, ancient, archaic romance.
Well said, well said. Now, I have already asked you kind of what you want to see in season 3 from the story, but for you as an actor, how do you want to be challenged by these new hypothetical episodes?
At face value, it's more stunts. I love the stunts. They're so fun to do.
You could
He
have
had
had a stunt when you crossed over, but they were like, we're just not going to show it, so you don't even get a stunt for that.
he does get, punched in the face by
That's
Mr.
true.
Anderson, which was awesome to do. But you know, I um I really like doing scenes with uh I guess people I can't predict. And there's something about Mr. Martin, his acting, Josh Zuckerman, where he's sort of this guy that I want to work with. And now I get to do that. I'm gonna be honest, when I stream the show, just when Paramount sends it over, I have my laptop playing his scenes over and over again, and I'm standing in my room with the lights on, saying his lines out loud. I'm so fascinated by this guy, and I try to cheat it. Before we film, I look at Mr. Martin's lines and I try to find it on my own and how I would do it. And then I watch the show and he just does it so much better. I'm like, dang, what is he able to find
He's
as an
great.
actor that I can't? And so underratedly great. I think what I want to do is be challenged by the unpredictability of another actor. That if he throws something my way, I want to be able to be present enough to throw it back at him. I love working with like talented actors like Peyton, um, and I guess I just kind of want to like keep going and work with Mr. Martin and have more scenes with him.
Well, I think that that's in your future, so I think you got that one ready to go. If the show were to be renewed, hypothetically, how soon do you think cameras could start rolling? What do you think? Do you think everyone's ready to go? I don't want, I don't want it, and I know the world doesn't want long yearly or like multiple year
Oh,
wait. So come on, next
oh,
year.
you know, I could say this that while we have no dates for filming and we have no idea how locked in it is, um, we know that everyone on the studio side is just fanatic about the show. And they're pretty urgent about things. Like you and I, we went to the premiere of School Spirits last month, and you saw how massive that event was.
It was
It was
crazy.
they are really doing things bigger and bigger and bigger. So I can't imagine they would go slower and slower and slower. So heck no. There's no chance for a 1 year wait. I would be surprised. But I told you in a recent interview about like Janet as a figure who's misunderstood and kind of underratedly like very generous. Like she just gave up her future and you know, I I, I would love for Simon and Janet to better suit each other in the situations that they've fallen into. They would be a great they'd make great buddies. That's for
Hmm.
sure. You know, she's wicked smart and and don't you think? I think that would be a good.
Yeah, that'll be fun. And I think Janet has a lot of growing to do, especially into like season three. She's kind of in a whole new environment. It almost feels like she's kind of shed a skin in a sense, and like she was hiding so much. She was being this one person, and now after all these revelations, everything's unfolded. She is kind
Mm.
of renewed. So I think she's got a lot to explore, and Simon's in the best spot to be a front row seat and integral to that whole journey.
Dude, I love how well you understand these characters, man.
Yeah. Thank you for joining me and talking about School Spirits season two. I look forward to everyone getting to see it. It's great. And yeah, season three will happen. We all know it.